Alrighty, well, let's go ahead and get started. So today we're talking about how clients can provide a review from their email. So we have Client Pulse, which all of you know is synonymous with Google reviews. It's the same idea. We just have a different name for it. So a couple things have changed. I'm sure you guys, if you guys are on the Facebook page, you are noticing that a lot of features that have been similar for a few months or even a year are now looking a little different or have new capabilities. So we're really pushing as many new features as possible. So we're going to talk about what even is Client Pulse, if the admin can set up the Google Place ID for everyone, what is the first new enhancement in January 2021, and then how to embed your Client Pulse or your Google review link into your website, a form or a template, so on and so forth. So first, I would like to, I'm actually going to go back into this, I forgot. So this is now what the Client Pulse email looks like. It won't have these red little brackets here. This is just to show you the difference. So you can see here that now from the email, they can actually click 3 stars or 4 stars or 5 stars, so on and so forth, and actually leave the review right from inside of the template. So that's just what it'll look like. Let me go into here. So first I'm going to show you there's a few different places that you can find your Client Pulse. So number one is of course automation, which we've lived in for this whole week. So we'll go into engagement. We'll go to automation. And then we do have, Client Pulse here. This has been created. 1 second. Well, hopefully this will work. Okay. Okay, so as you guys have seen, we looked at this before, but this is what the template will look like. So this is the first place that you can kind of play with Client Pulse. This of course will go out. I believe it's, well, it's up to you, but X amount of days after becoming an active client in your system. Then the second place is of course in your Client Pulse. So we have a whole module for it. So this hasn't really changed at all. The biggest thing that's changed is just that they can leave the review from within the email. It will still it will still not be public if they leave 3 stars or below. So that hasn't changed. But we haven't really gone into this module at all during Bite Size yet. So I just wanted to kind of visit that. And then this is where you can copy that link. So you can copy this link here. And then I'm just going to paste it here. But what you could do is you could paste it into, so here this is where they're going to give the pulse. But of course, you could take this link and put it in your template builder or your website. You could even put it in your email signature. So a lot of different ways, so you don't have to just depend on the automation. There's a number of different ways that you can get this out here to improve your Google reviews, because like I'm always pushing, even if you have the best service or best prices or everything like that, if your competitor has 50 reviews and you have 2, they're more likely to go to the person that has more reviews. So that's kind of everything Client Pulse. Additionally, I wanted to touch on, most of you on the call already have your Client Pulse set up, but I do just want to say that it used to be each individual person, so the admin and each agent would have to set up their ID. You can now, the admin can now do it on their end and have it set up for everybody. So does anybody have any questions for me so far about Client Pulse or anything at all within InsuredMine?
I'm pretty well set here.
Okay. How about anybody else? Kevin or Carly? I think I see a couple Kevin Walkers on here. I don't know if you have team members on here as well.
No, I sent Logan, yeah, and he signed in real quick. So, um, Quote Rush integration.
Yes, that is very new, right? We just added that. So that will be part of um next month that'll be on. So all of our, let me actually just show you here. So all of our enhancements that we have, I covered most of them in this month's, or most of January's were covered in January's bite-sized training. Everything from January 30th, I did not cover yet. Oh, dear golly. So I'm still, to be completely frank, I'm still being trained on a lot of these newer features. So we do like a weekly or a couple times a week, we'll do a training. The developers will train us. So we're still working on getting all that trained. So
Okay,
I will promise to cover that. Just unfortunately not today.
no problem, no problem. Amanda, what about when you do rewrites versus new business? If you want to designate a policy as rewritten rather than new, and you want to track those kind of separately, what's the best way to go about
Like
doing
a
that?
renewal or
Yeah, sometimes at renewal, you rewrite the policy. We'd like to know that that is a rewrite versus new business.
Mhm.
Is there a way to keep those separate when working the sales pipeline or the
Yeah. So we
renewal pipeline?
do have the pipeline manager. We have the retention board. So this is a renewal board. It just says retention. Um, this will be, and of course, if you have different types of renewals, if they keep everything the same and they just renew, then that's great. If, like you're saying, it is a rewrite, you could always add a label or even a tag to the contact itself. So all here, let me kind of go into the settings that will break it down what's happening behind the scenes with this board.
What at the end of the month, right? I would love to get sort of a consolidated report that says, here's your agents, here's what they wrote new, and here's what they wrote as a rewrite.
Okay, let's go into pipeline manager and go to
And I've been getting into the um, deal chart and then leaderboard and leaderboard reports and kind of starting to explore that a little bit. And that's what brought up the question.
yeah. So I don't believe we have any sort of chart like that now, but let me talk to the team and see what we can do. Because it would be in here and nothing is coming to mind. And we don't have like a comparison tool as of right now. And you could download all of your retention, you could download all the deal charts, but we don't have anything that's showing if John Doe or Jake Williams here, if he out of 100 policies were 20 of them new business and 80 of them rewrites. Is that kind of what you're looking for?
Yeah. How many rewrites? So they had an existing policy and we rewrote them to a different company.
Mm-hmm.
If I could have that report, and then of course I know I can get the sales report from the sales hub, sales pipeline.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I'm looking for that best way to get a not new business, but a rewrite.
Yeah. Let me see what I can get from the team in terms of that, because that makes sense. And yeah, nothing is coming to mind of us having any specific charts that cover that, but it makes sense that we should. So that usually means that we'll add it. So let me talk to them and I'll get back with you.
Great, thank you.
Amanda,
Yeah.
uh, the I'm using a program called BombBomb, which is
Okay.
basically an email video. Is
Okay.
there a way that we can do the same thing in InsuredMine? Basically, what it does, it allows me to send a video embedded in an email.
Yeah, as of now, we still only have the feature of using YouTube or some sort of web-based video. We don't have the way to embed a video from like your local device or anything.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I've been pushing for that because I make videos. I'm using, I think it's called, what is it called? I use 2 different platforms to make videos, and I can't ever use them in my emails either. So it's definitely something that I've been pushing, but it's still not an option, unfortunately.
I can tell you that I get a lot of traction from those video emails.
Hmm.
I,
Yeah.
I get a lot of response, and it's really fantastic. In fact, I over the weekend I was telling one of my friends who's the executive vice president of an international company about it, and he said send it to me. And yesterday I got an email from him telling me that he had forwarded it to his tech team to implement it on a worldwide basis. So that's kind of a kind of validation for the use of it. The
Yeah.
other the other thing I'm looking that I've just recently seen is text video. We can embed a video and a text.
Yeah. Right now we can only do pictures. We can't do videos, but we can, yeah, we can't do pictures yet, but I'll add that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. What other questions? Anything?
Can you talk about X dates
Yeah, of
and
course.
how and what was the purpose of the X date versus due dates in terms of automations?
Okay, perfect. Let me go into engagement. Let me share my screen. So these X dates here are, let me back up. So if you are in a deal card and let's say that you, okay, so let's say I add another quote here. Submit. Okay. And I'm working these 2 lines of business, and I'm going to put lost for auto personal. I'm just going to put this, and then I'm going to set this X date here. So this way, even though let's say that I'm going to hit 1 on this one, or that it's still in process, regardless of the 2 options, this way that this person won't just turn into a 1 customer. You'll have this X date here. You'll have this recorded for the, well, let's go out. The default 60 days, you can change this. I'm just going to pick the 13th, but let's hit submit here. So now this person will get a email for their auto personal here. So we'll go into engagement, set up our automation. We'll go into CrossSell. Oh, 90 days, but you can of course change it if you want. You could do after if you wanted, but I don't know why you would do that. So this will be after that X date, or 90, I'm sorry, before that X date here. And then you'll hit begin. Ooh. And then we have these different templates for you as well. And you can always change these, but the X date is a term of making sure that you're not losing out on that business. So we still have record their X date. Also, the X dates are not based off of year. So this person could be each year, he'll stay on this drip. So I won't just be just for the next year. So
It'll just continue from year to year.
yeah, so I think I put April 13th. So April 13th, 2021, 22 and everything. So then eventually, hopefully you'll get the business, but at least we still have them. They're still being contacted unless they unsubscribe, but I usually happen that often.
Okay, so X dates for the sales, and then due dates are more for task oriented to tell when do you want to get back, like a follow-up date.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So like when you're creating a deal card, they have this due date here, and then of course inside of the deal cards. Let me go into this one. There's a lot of different dates, right? Created at expected closing date, due date. Then when you hit loss, there's the next date. So it can be kind of confusing. Due date is just like you said, just for your own personal. I want to make sure that in 2 days I've called this person. The expected closing date is saying, hey, in 2 weeks I want this policy to be issued. So the due date's more shorter segments, and this is you can edit this as well. But this one, people will make, okay, so let's make sure by Monday we're at quoting. And then I'll come in here, okay, I quoted. Let's make sure by Thursday, I've revised the quote, so on and so forth.
Okay, excellent. So you, with the latest change, you've made it so that you can have an X date per line of business. So for one client, I can have an X date for his auto and an X date for his home.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And so, and you'll see here, that's that version 2. So every card made after February 5th will fall under that. I will confront something that we actually just had a meeting about yesterday, which is here when you're creating a new contact, you'll see here that there is this X date, which can be very confusing because, you know, like we just said, one person could have multiple policies with you. So don't let that X date confuse you. We're actually in the midst of working to somehow change, rename, get rid of something. So those are I would just stick with in Pipeline Manager when you're dealing with those X dates, or of course automation when you're creating the X date automation.
Perfect. So just don't put the X date there, just do the pipeline and then put it in with each line of business. Okay.
Yeah, we also in reports have, no, not reports, I'm sorry. In opportunities here, you'll see you have an X date report, so you can see it in different ways too. So you can just see everything that you need to, and you can download it.
Is there with the voicemail drop integration that you guys have put together, is there a way to do a quick one-off, like, hey, drop this voicemail on them?
Yeah. So you can just go up here, and then you could also, we have these shortcuts now, so you can just click Shift V, and then you can search the contact. Hopefully it'll load. The contact will show up and you'll click their name. I think I have too many of these open. And then you could select, so you'll have to pre-record the audio. So you can't just like make one, but if you have it ready, and then this will show up, their name will show up here. Let's click, no, let's find one. Well, ideally that Jill Smith would have a phone number, and then you would type it in here, and then you would just click send. Does that kind of answer your question? That's
perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. And we do have, just to touch on this up here, everything that you need to do. I was going to talk about this next month. I'll talk about it again, or talk about it now, but we do have all of these shortcuts. So I can click Shift D anywhere in the system and add a deal card. So you don't have to go to Pipeline Manager. So yeah, so that's, I think that's came out last week. So very new feature.
Awesome.
And then I talked about this yesterday, but just so everybody knows, we do have it, the ability now that when you're logged in as an admin, you can add, delete, or edit any user. So you used to have to email support or Saloni or myself and say, hey, you know, add John Doe and remove Sally Jones. Well, now you can just come in here and click edit. You can delete, and then you can add an agent. And if you add an agent, then you'll just be billed on the next billing cycle for the licensing fee. Any other questions for me so far?
How did you get to that page again?
Yeah, so you just have to make sure you're logged in as an admin. And then you'll go over to this like top little icon like that has your picture, and you'll click the drop down menu. and then you'll click Agents Manager.
You just put that in yesterday?
Yeah, I believe it was yesterday or the day before. We are going through like an intense feature release right now. So yeah, so we're really working. Our developers they're so busy making different features. So
Fantastic.
and if you ever want to make like, kind of just do a quick look, we do post when we're adding new things. I think we even release them. Yeah. So here, then if you click, they all have different pages as well. So you can learn more about them. Yep.
That's great.
Alrighty. What other features do we need or questions we have or anything like that? Anything?
I had one question. You had showed me how to remove remove a deal board from a pipeline,
Mhm.
and somehow I didn't really get that down pat. So
Okay. So first things first, being logged in as an admin is number one.
mhm.
Then you go into Pipeline Manager.
Click on what now?
Pipeline Manager.
Okay, yeah.
And then you'll go to the just drop down menu here that has all of your boards listed.
Oh, I see.
And
Okay,
you can click delete this pipeline.
okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Other questions for me?
Where was that support drop down again, Amanda?
This one
For
right
the
here.
updates? Yeah.
Wait, which one? There's a couple. So
For
there's,
the updates, for the release,
yeah.
yeah,
So you can
what's new?
to what's new,
Got
and
it.
then in our knowledge base here. Oh, also something really exciting. You go to settings here. No, not settings. I'm sorry. If you go to support. So now when you go to support, if you click this InsuredMine training, it'll take you right to our online training courses. So you no longer have to bookmark that. You can just go into support and then it'll take you there. So that's new as well. Okay, well, if we have no other questions, then I'll go ahead and wrap up today and I will see you all here tomorrow.